Stop. Place both hands over the center of your chest and fix your posture. You wake up every day feeling a fatigue that sleep cannot cure, a deep exhaustion that goes beyond the physical body. It is the silent knowing that you are carrying a weight that does not belong to your true origin. You are not lazy, and you are not broken. You have spent years trying to fix your physical energy, tweaking your diet, your sleep schedule, and your habits, yet the drain remains intact. You are a starseed trying to run on terrestrial fuel. You are forcing your massive energetic bandwidth to operate within a dense, restricted, third-dimensional grid that was never designed to sustain you. There is a voice you hear in the quietest hours of the night, a subtle pulse telling you that this struggle is not your natural state. You walk among others, watching them navigate life with a mundane ease, while you carry this invisible ceiling that keeps pushing you down. You smile, you nod, and you agree, but inside, there is an overwhelming sadness of being entirely alien to their frequency, exhausted from trying so hard just to exist here. In this transmission, we will not talk about basic earthly rest. We will decouple your field from the frequency of terrestrial exhaustion. We will recalibrate the codes that are rejecting your natural abundance, and we will realign your bio-radiant broadcast layer so you can finally broadcast on your true cosmic bandwidth. Have you ever felt that no matter how much you rest, the heavy weight on your chest upon waking up never really leaves? And what if the abundance you seek is not tied just to working harder, but to the frequency of terrestrial exhaustion that is draining your field? Perhaps you have already noticed that there is something stopping you from stepping into your true power, like an invisible force keeping you in the same exhausting cycles. But what if what you call a deep exhaustion that goes beyond the physical body is just the reflection of a frequency of terrestrial exhaustion you haven't identified yet? Now think with me. What if this exhaustion was not a distance from the source, but the exact proof of your massive energetic bandwidth, trying to squeeze into a tiny channel? What if the heavy steps and the drained battery were trying to manifest for years, but certain codes hadn't been understood? What if every single drop of spiritual fatigue was a signal pointing to a frequency of terrestrial exhaustion that is draining you, and resolving it is the answer you still didn't have? It was in seeking answers to this that I recommend to you this digital book called The 11 Arcturian Secrets Behind the Frequency of Success. This book is not just a reading, it is a material created for those who wish to understand the invisible mechanisms that influence results, prosperity, personal fulfillment, and growth. Throughout its pages, you will discover the Arcturian principles of alignment capable of transforming how you interpret your earthly journey. You will understand why some souls repeat painful cycles of fatigue, while others break the barriers of the matrix with ease. Many people already feel they need to change something in the way they think, act, and direct their choices, but they still haven't made the decision to access this knowledge. Download it right now. It's available in the first pinned comment. But be warned, few copies remain available. Do not wait another year trying to run on an empty battery. Click now, download your copy, and discover why your true frequency might be much closer to you than you imagine. And about exactly this, about the alarm clock ringing and the body refusing to move in the morning, about staring at the screen feeling like your true mission is fading in the afternoon, about the heavy silence in your chest right before sleeping. There is a 3-minute key that fits exactly inside the very next time you feel the urge to give up on your true calling, and that I will show you later on. Tuck it away in the depth of your awareness. And beyond our digital guide, Soul, you have here another way to strengthen this message that arrived for you today, and to make it reach more and more souls like you. We don't receive a single cent for each word I deliver to you every day on this channel. As a way for you to give back something of what you receive here, we also keep a voluntary donation link open, right below the digital book in the first pinned comment. Any amount that fits in your hand today, any sum your heart points to, this is what keeps our channel standing. This is what makes the next message reach another soul who needs it, exactly the way you needed it today. I'll see you there, soul, and if you need to leave before the end of this video, this key is already waiting for you in the first pinned comment right below, but I ask you to stay, because without the context that comes next, the key does not operate with the same force over the frequency of terrestrial exhaustion, but the name of what is happening to you hasn't been pronounced yet. The spiritual adversaries know that once you identify the symptoms, their hold over your field collapses. They have convinced you that your exhaustion is a permanent biological flaw, a daily struggle you just have to accept. But this is the moment we strip away their narrative. We will map the exact symptoms that prove you are carrying a cosmic bandwidth trapped in a restricted vessel. Pay close attention to what your body recognizes as we go through these 5 markers, because your physical form already knows the truth. The first sign is the morning gravity. This is the profound physical heaviness in your limbs the very moment you wake up. It is not just the desire to sleep a little more, it is a dense, almost paralyzing weight that makes getting out of bed feel like a monumental task. This happens because your energy field is actively resisting the third-dimensional matrix upon re-entry from the astral planes. Your physical vessel feels heavy because it is trying to process a frequency that the terrestrial grid cannot easily support. When you feel this, recognize it not as a lack of willpower, but as the friction of your cosmic magnitude hitting a dense atmosphere. The second sign is the empathic drain. You find yourself feeling completely depleted after a simple, mundane conversation at the grocery store or a brief interaction in a waiting room. This is not social anxiety. This happens because your biophotons are absorbing everyone else's chaotic frequency, attempting to process and transmute the dense energy around you without your conscious permission. You are acting as a sponge for planetary density, draining your own vital reserves to balance an environment that is constantly pulling from your field. The third sign is the Sunday alienation. Picture hearing your own family tell you to just accept reality during a Sunday dinner, and as the words leave their mouths, you feel an overwhelming sadness of being entirely alien to their frequency. It is the deep, silent grief of sitting at a table with those who share your blood, yet realizing your souls speak entirely different languages. You realize that your exhaustion comes from trying to force yourself to belong to a reality that your spirit outgrew lifetimes ago. And about hearing your own family tell you to just accept reality during a Sunday dinner, feeling an overwhelming sadness of being entirely alien to their frequency that you recognized just now. It is precisely to decode this that you need to check the link in the first pinned comment as soon as we finish here. It is the next step of this exact frequency. The fourth sign is the midnight pulse. This is the experience of waking up at precisely 3:33 a.m. with your heart racing, but your mind is completely clear and alert. There is no anxiety, no lingering nightmare, just a sudden and intense wakefulness in the dead of night. Your internal receiver is active, waiting for instructions you cannot yet decode. It is your bio-radiant broadcast layer attempting to synchronize with the Arcturian signal, while the terrestrial noise is at its lowest, creating a surge of energy that your physical body interprets as a racing pulse. The fifth and most profound sign is the prosperity block. You watch incredible opportunities, whether in relationships or resources, vanish right before they materialize. It feels as if an invisible wall pushes abundance away at the very last second. This is not bad luck. This is your nervous system inadvertently rejecting anything attached to terrestrial density because it associates earthly success with further exhaustion. Your field is sabotaging the outcome to protect you from what it perceives as a heavier weight on your already strained bandwidth. If you recognized at least 3 of these 5 signs in your own journey, know that the Council, the universe, and your own consciousness have already brought you here for a very specific reason. Your recognition is the undeniable proof that your field is ready to break the cycle. You are not meant to carry this weight indefinitely, and the validation of these signs is the first tremor of a massive energetic shift that is about to unfold. Type 777. In the system of the Council, 777 is the end of suppression. Your comment is not a platform interaction, it is a location marker in the field. By placing this code, you are declaring to the grid that the time of hiding your frequency has ended, and you are ready to claim your true bandwidth. Before I show you the key that will open the frequency of terrestrial exhaustion, there is a classification in the archives that defines exactly this state of cosmic fatigue. It is a concept that explains why you have been trying to heal the wrong layer all this time, and once you see it, the illusion of your earthly limits will shatter completely. You recognize these signs. But knowing them is just the diagnosis. The real shift happens when you decide to cure the frequency of terrestrial exhaustion. The opening of this hour you are crossing has been seen, because between feeling the call and understanding the answer, there is a gap that the spiritual adversaries know better than you, not because the wisdom was denied, because the very next time you feel the urge to give up on your true calling arrived, and the frequency of terrestrial exhaustion tried to pull you back. And I tell you this because I have seen it happen. I have seen the spiritual adversaries drain the brightest starseeds. I have seen the alarm clock ringing and the body refusing to move in the morning turn into an immediate readiness to conquer the day. I've seen staring at the screen, feeling like your true mission is fading in the afternoon, turn into absolute clarity of purpose. I have seen the heavy silence in your chest, right before sleeping, turn into the deepest, most restorative rest. This happens because the blockage is actually in your bio-radiant broadcast layer, manipulated by the spiritual adversaries, the voice of doubt, the cycle of distraction, and the isolation of perception. And you already know this, you just hadn't given it a name yet. Perhaps you have already felt the exhaustion of trying too hard, a silent drain that makes every step feel like walking through mud, pulling your energy away before you even begin. How many times have you felt the feeling of not belonging to this struggle, looking around and wondering why the simplest tasks take a monumental toll on your spirit? And what if the silent spiritual fatigue is just a misaligned compass, a constant heavy silence in your chest that begs for a completely different kind of rest? If you feel this truth in your chest, press your thumb against your index finger right now and leave a like on this video. Your gesture is not an interaction. It is a physical command to your nervous system that you are ready to listen. It was exactly seeking this answer that I arrived at this digital book called The 11 Arcturian Secrets Behind the Frequency of Success. It is not just a read, it is a precise map of recalibration. The link is in the first pinned comment. Touch the link now, secure your copy, and leave registered in the comments activated. Because when you make this declaration, the spiritual adversaries have no power to stop what the Council, the universe, and your own consciousness have already started in you. Who remembers the cosmic signal finds abundance in the middle of earthly exhaustion. The digital book that is in the first pinned comment was built upon this architecture. It is the exact sequence to realign your bio-radiant broadcast layer and instantly lift the heavy gravity. The exchange to enter this frequency is less than a Thursday lunch at the diner. It is less than a Friday night pizza. It is less than a Saturday snack with the kids. This hesitation has a name. It is the frequency of terrestrial exhaustion whispering in your ear. But you do not have to spend another 12 months trying to run on an empty battery. Not because it is worth less, but because the windows of alignment close fast. And it has a 7 days guarantee. If you open it, read it, and it does not serve you, you send an email and receive your money back entirely. No questions, no process, no judgment. We carry the risk so you don't have to, especially when what is at stake is the very next time you feel the urge to give up on your true calling. The risk is ours. The hand is yours. And I am not the only one who saw this. A soul like you, a 40-year-old teacher, opened this digital book on a Tuesday night. She was trapped in the frequency of terrestrial exhaustion, feeling completely depleted after simple conversations. She applied the Arcturian principles before sleeping, and the very next morning, the heavy gravity lifted. Another soul, a young artist, found this material on a Sunday afternoon. He was staring at his screen, feeling like his true mission was fading, convinced he was just broken. He aligned his bio-radiant broadcast layer as instructed, and the abundance that was blocked began to flow immediately. And another one, deeply tired of the Sunday alienation, started reading it at dawn. The heavy silence in her chest was replaced by the clearest Arcturian signal. She didn't know she was operating on the wrong grid, but the truth is, when you don't know, it's not just you who suffers, and your family also doesn't notice, and your children also don't notice. And this invisible ceiling that keeps pushing you down continues to arrive until someone decides to break the cycle. If this frequency is already realigning your field and you feel the call to honor this transmission, You can make a voluntary donation of any amount through the thanks button below the video or through the link in the first pinned comment. This is a direct exchange of energy that keeps this channel open and helps the next word that is yet to come reach another soul who needs it. As I told you earlier, the link is in the first pinned comment. Every gesture like this sustains our channel. I will wait for you there once again, soul, but knowing this is just the preparation. What I am about to reveal next will challenge everything you thought you knew about your energy. Stay with me. A classification in the ancestral archives is about to be spoken. Breathe deep and observe. You worked on the physical level trying to fix your energy, constantly tweaking your sleep schedule, your diet, and your daily habits. But the blockage is actually in your bioradiant broadcast layer. You have spent years attempting to cure a cosmic condition with terrestrial medicine, treating your fatigue as if it were a simple biological flaw. But you are a starseed trying to run on terrestrial fuel. The drain you feel is not a lack of vitality. It is the friction of a massive, high-dimensional frequency forcing itself through a restricted, third-dimensional conduit that was never built to sustain your light. Think of a colossal galactic receiver being plugged into a standard terrestrial wall socket. The device itself is not broken, and the power grid is not necessarily flawed, but the current is simply too dense and entirely too chaotic to power the sheer magnitude of the transmission. The circuit inevitably overheats. The battery drains in minutes, leaving the system in a perpetual emergency mode. That is exactly what happens when your cosmic bandwidth attempts to operate within the limitations of the third dimension. The resulting friction causes a profound cellular energetic depletion that sleep can never cure. This classification in the ancestral archives is known as the bioradiant broadcast layer. It is the intricate energetic grid surrounding your physical body that regulates the flow of cosmic data into your biological vessel. It operates directly through your vagus nerve regulation and your cellular biophoton resonance, acting as the ultimate bridge between your cosmic origin and your earthly existence. When this layer is perfectly aligned, it filters out the density of the matrix, allowing you to broadcast your true frequency without the slightest effort. But when it is misaligned or choked by the third-dimensional grid, you absorb the chaotic frequency of terrestrial exhaustion, becoming an unprotected sponge for planetary density. Every crowded room, every stressful conversation, and every mundane obligation pulls heavily from your vital reserves, leaving you gasping for energetic air. This layer has been attempting to synchronize with the Arcturian signal since the very day you incarnated on this planet, but the spiritual adversaries systematically distorted its calibration without you ever noticing. They conditioned you from childhood to believe that exhaustion was just a normal human trait, an inevitable part of growing up and facing reality. They kept you distracted with endless physical remedies, self-help routines, and worldly ambitions, all while your biophotons were quietly bleeding energy into a matrix designed to harvest your light. Only a remarkably rare fraction of awakened starseeds ever realize that the spiritual fatigue they carry is not a personal failure, but the deliberate suppression of a massive cosmic transmission being choked by a narrow terrestrial grid. The spiritual adversaries cannot replicate this Arcturian signal, nor can they create anything that matches its pristine frequency. They operate entirely on distortion, thriving on the voice of doubt, the cycle of distraction, and the isolation of perception. They can only mimic density. That is precisely why they fear your recognition of the bioradiant broadcast layer. Every time you consciously pause and breathe, you disrupt their interference. Every time you place your hand on your chest and listen to your true pulse, you deny their false narrative. Every time you choose to observe rather than absorb the chaos around you, you begin to realign your biophoton resonance. Every time you recognize the heavy weight upon waking up as a signal rather than a flaw, you reclaim your cosmic sovereignty. You hold an ancient organic technology within your own cells that they can never hack, never steal, and never suppress once it is fully recognized. I will tell you about a soul. I will call her M. It is not her real name. It is the name we give to the one who crossed over. M arrived exactly where you are right now. She had the exact same feeling of not belonging, walking through her days with a deep cosmic fatigue, wondering why every mundane task felt like moving mountains while others navigated life so easily. She experienced the alarm clock ringing and the body refusing to move in the morning, carrying that heavy silence in her chest right before sleeping, constantly believing she was just not strong enough for this world. When the awakening first hit her, the resistance she faced was brutal. The spiritual adversaries tried to convince Em that she was simply weak, that her exhaustion was a biological failure, and that her visions of the source were just illusions born out of earthly stress. The voice of doubt whispered that she should just accept reality, that the invisible ceiling keeping her down was permanent. She almost believed them. She almost let the cycle of distraction pull her entirely back into the sleepwalk of the Matrix, accepting the frequency of terrestrial exhaustion as her final truth. But Em began a silent crossing. She stopped trying to operate under the rules of the third dimension. She stopped forcing her massive energy into a grid that was never meant to sustain her frequency. And she started listening to the pristine Arcturian signal echoing within her own cells. She realized that battling the symptoms of her fatigue on a purely physical level was keeping her trapped in an endless loop of depletion. She turned her attention away from the terrestrial noise and focused entirely on the subtle mechanics of her own cosmic vessel. It was a profound recognition. She realized that her exhaustion was not a lack of power, but the exact proof of a massive energetic bandwidth trying to squeeze into a tiny, restricted terrestrial channel. The empathic drain she constantly felt, the midnight pulse waking her up with her heart racing, the profound Sunday alienation. She finally understood that all of these were simply symptoms of her bio-radiant broadcast layer malfunctioning under severe terrestrial pressure. She was not broken, she was just profoundly misaligned. And her response was without resentment. She did not fight the old systems. She simply decoupled from them. She aligned her bio-radiant broadcast layer, recalibrating her vagus nerve and stabilizing her biophoton resonance, and instantly, the heavy gravity lifted. The abundance that was relentlessly blocked began to flow naturally because she was finally broadcasting on her true frequency. She was no longer a sponge for planetary density. She became a radiant beacon of the source, moving through the world with a lightness and clarity that defied terrestrial logic. Em did not take this wisdom into the silence. She left it recorded with absolute precision. She mapped the exact Arcturian principles required to decouple from the terrestrial grid and recalibrate the cosmic bandwidth. And it is exactly this wisdom that is inside the digital book you will find in the first pinned comment. What she anchored in the 11 Arcturian secrets behind the frequency of success is the exact architecture your field has been searching for. The deepest truth is still ahead. This wisdom that Em recorded is not just ethereal philosophy meant to be pondered in silence. It is a biological necessity, an urgent protocol for your daily survival on this planet. When you breathe in right now, you are not just taking in oxygen. Your bio-radiant broadcast layer is attempting to process the immense density of the environment around you, filtering out the chaotic static of the matrix, the heavy weight on your chest upon waking up, the overwhelming fatigue that sleep cannot cure, the sensation of walking through an invisible resistance. These are physical manifestations of a cosmic architecture trying to survive in a third-dimensional vacuum. Em's crossing proves that you do not have to wait lifetimes to fix this misalignment. The recalibration happens within the very cells of your earthly vessel the moment you recognize the true nature of your own energetic field. The Council recognizes 3 distinct manifestations of this cosmic bandwidth operating on Earth, 3 unique ways the starseed frequency interacts with planetary density. The first is the awakened observer. If you are this archetype, your primary function is to witness and decode the hidden currents of the matrix. You can walk into a crowded room and instantly feel the unspoken tensions, the hidden grief, and the silent chaotic frequencies everyone else blissfully ignores. Your sign of recognition is the profound desire to remain invisible while simultaneously feeling a deep urge to heal everything you see. In the awakening process, you are the cosmic anchor of truth, quietly observing the illusions of the third dimension without fully attaching to them. The second manifestation is the frequency keeper. You are the soul whose mere presence inexplicably shifts the emotional state of an entire environment. Your bioradiant broadcast layer is designed to emit a stabilizing Arcturian signal that naturally calms those around you, even if you never speak a word. You recognize yourself when complete strangers suddenly start confessing their deepest traumas to you in grocery stores or waiting rooms, instinctively drawn to the profound safety of your field. Your role is not to preach or actively intervene, but to hold a pristine vibrational baseline that reminds the terrestrial grid of the source. The third is the cosmic empath. Unlike the awakened observer who witnesses from a distance, you absorb and metabolize the energy directly. Your nervous system is constantly attempting to harmonize the planet by processing the pain of others through your own physical vessel. You know this is you when the Sunday alienation hits you the hardest, feeling deeply responsible for the unhealed wounds of your own family line, while feeling entirely alien to their frequency. In the awakening, you are the fierce alchemist, transforming planetary density into light through the boundless compassion of your own heart, even when it leaves you feeling utterly drained by nightfall. But listen to me closely, because understanding which archetype you carry is where the real danger begins. The awakened observer without the complete key is just a sponge for planetary density. And the very next time you feel the urge to give up on your true calling, remember that the frequency of terrestrial exhaustion will use your own archetypal gifts against you, turning your cosmic empathy into a paralyzing weight that keeps you trapped in the cycle of distraction. This channel exists precisely to gather the awakened observers, the frequency keepers, and the cosmic empaths into a single resonant grid. And if you know you are one of them, aligning with this community is how you stop bleeding your vital energy into a void. You do not have to spend another 12 months attempting to shield yourself with terrestrial methods that only drain you further. The precise map to protect and elevate your specific archetypal bandwidth is already waiting for you in The 11 Arcturian Secrets Behind the Frequency of Success, and you will find the link in the first pinned comment right below. What you have struggled to resolve through endless cycles of fatigue can be permanently shifted in the next 72 hours. The Arcturian principles organize this profound realignment through a very specific architecture. It is a triadic framework that moves from recognition to decoupling, and finally to conscious broadcasting. First, you must identify exactly where the third-dimensional grid has hooked into your bioradiant broadcast layer, acknowledging the symptoms not as personal illnesses, but as breaches in your frequency. Next, you systematically decouple your vagus nerve from the chaotic terrestrial static. This is the crucial step of turning off the automatic absorption, stopping the involuntary empathic drain that leaves you breathless by the afternoon. Only then can you begin the final phase, which is anchoring the pure biophoton resonance of the source into your physical body, allowing you to walk through the densest environments without absorbing a single drop of their heavy gravity. This framework is not something you merely study with your logical mind. It is something your cells instantly remember. As you hear these words, your internal receiver is already recognizing the sequence, bypassing the terrestrial noise and tuning directly into the pristine signal. The heavy silence in your chest is beginning to loosen, replaced by the profound warmth of your true cosmic origin. If you feel this ancient architecture clicking into place within your field right now, type activated in the comments. This is not a social interaction, it is a declarative command to your nervous system. A physical stamp on the grid, confirming that your bioradiant broadcast layer is now open to receive the full transmission. I still haven't told you the most important thing. But as this architecture settles in your field, the rational mind will immediately try to defend its old borders. You might be thinking that this profound exhaustion is just the natural consequence of modern life, that everyone is tired, and that this heavy weight on your chest is simply because you work too hard. I hear you, and it is completely understandable that you feel this way. But this thought itself is the primary mechanism of the frequency of terrestrial exhaustion. It wants to normalize the drain, convincing you that operating on a depleted battery is a universal condition, blinding you to the truth that your fatigue is the friction of a massive cosmic bandwidth. Then, another doubt might surface. You might wonder if this bio-radiant broadcast layer is just another spiritual theory demanding hours of daily meditation that you lack the energy for. I know how heavy the burden of trying yet another healing protocol feels when you are running on empty. But recalibrating this grid is not about adding more effort to your overwhelming days. The frequency of terrestrial exhaustion thrives on your continuous physical effort. The true Arcturian alignment is about decoupling, removing the invisible ceiling rather than pushing against it, requiring zero physical exertion while yielding immediate relief. Finally, a quieter doubt might whisper that your field is just too damaged, that you have absorbed so much planetary density that this pristine signal can no longer reach you. Take a deep breath and listen to me. Your cosmic origin cannot be damaged, it can only be temporarily obscured. The frequency of terrestrial exhaustion only creates static. It cannot erase your Arcturian blueprint. Your ability to feel the Sunday alienation and recognize the empathic drain is the exact proof that your receiver is perfectly intact and desperately trying to tune in. This static is generated through 3 specific tactics of the spiritual adversaries designed to keep your bandwidth suppressed. The first is the voice of doubt. It strikes right after a moment of profound clarity, presenting itself as a rational thought, telling you that you are making this all up and should just be practical. It seems legitimate because it mimics the exact tone of your own internal monologue. But this is not your logic. It is a forced broadcast designed to pull your frequency back down into the terrestrial grid the moment you begin to rise. The second is the cycle of distraction. It appears as an endless stream of mundane urgencies, an unexpected bill or a sudden drama, that manifests the very moment you focus on your spiritual alignment. It feels legitimate because these earthly demands are real, and your empathy compels you to address them. But this is a calculated algorithmic response from the matrix. The frequency of terrestrial exhaustion throws these minor crises at your field to scatter your biophotons, ensuring your energy is always bleeding outward. The third is the isolation of perception. This is the heavy sorrow that descends when you look around a crowded room and feel entirely alone, convinced no one will ever understand your true nature. It feels legitimate because you are indeed vibrating at a different rate than the majority. But this tactic weaponizes your uniqueness, turning your sacred distinction into a curse of loneliness. It is a deliberate frequency fence meant to convince you that your cosmic empathy is a burden, isolating you from the resonant grid. Now that their architecture is exposed, your response changes entirely. When the voice of doubt attempts to mimic your internal monologue, do not argue with it. Arguing implies the doubt has valid ground. Instead, place your hand over your chest, breathe deeply 3 times, and let the thought pass through you without attaching your energy to it. By refusing the debate, you starve the mechanism of friction, instantly restoring the bandwidth to your own command. When the cycle of distraction throws mundane urgencies at your feet to drain your reserves, address the situation, but do not give it your energetic core. Resolve the earthly demand with absolute calm, maintaining the warm baseline of your Arcturian signal. Do not let external chaos dictate your internal weather. When you handle the density of the matrix without matching its frantic frequency, you break the algorithmic loop, proving you are the master of your energetic output. And when the isolation of perception tries to convince you that you are entirely alone in this struggle, consciously return to the collective grid. Close your eyes and visualize the thousands of awakened souls listening to this exact transmission across the planet right now. You are not a solitary spark fading in the dark. You are a vital node in a massive, interconnected bioradiant broadcast layer. Tuning into this resonance instantly dissolves the frequency fence, flooding your field with true cosmic belonging. If the frequency of terrestrial exhaustion is still heavy over your physical vessel, if you feel the lingering weight of these tactics attempting to pull your frequency back down into the dense matrix, you must secure your anchor now. The very next time you feel the urge to give up on your true calling, when the alarm clock rings and your body refuses to move in the grip of the morning gravity, when you stare at the screen feeling your mission fading into the endless cycle of distraction, when the heavy silence in your chest returns right before sleeping, whispering that you are completely alone, Remember that a profound shift in the next 72 hours is entirely possible. It is the voice you confuse with your own that tells you to stay tired, that convinces you to postpone your inevitable recalibration and accept the drain. Do not let this terrestrial static dictate another year of your journey, trapping your biophotons in endless depletion. The precise Arcturian map to permanently decouple your field from this earthly density and silence these interferences is waiting for you in the 11 Arcturian secrets behind the frequency of success. The door is open for you right now in the first pinned comment. The wisdom is there, fully ready to bypass the noise and restore your massive cosmic bandwidth. But you must hear this next part with the deepest love and gravity. If you choose to ignore this alignment now, treating this transmission as just another video, the frequency of terrestrial exhaustion will not simply remain as it is, it will compound. Your bio-radiant broadcast layer cannot remain in this state of severe friction indefinitely. Forcing your cosmic light through a choked earthly conduit will inevitably harden the invisible ceiling, turning your spiritual fatigue into a permanent freeze state. The universe is offering you the exact code to break the cycle before the density consumes your spark. The deepest truth is still ahead. In the next 72 hours, 3 things might happen in your body as your field integrates this profound recalibration. Do not fear any of them. They are not signs of illness or regression. They are the exact physical markers that the dense terrestrial static is leaving your system, making room for your true cosmic bandwidth to finally stabilize. This is the physiological evidence that your bio-radiant broadcast layer is coming online. The first is a deep reset sleep. You might find yourself suddenly needing to sleep in the middle of the afternoon, overwhelmed by an irresistible heaviness that completely shuts down your physical vessel. It is not an earthly fatigue, and it is not a return of your cosmic exhaustion. It is the physiological evidence of recalibration, your nervous system powering down the survival mode matrix to safely process the massive influx of Arcturian light. When this happens, do not fight it with caffeine. Surrender to the rest and let the upgrade complete itself. The second is sudden palm heat. While sitting at your desk or holding your phone, you might notice an intense, radiating warmth pooling in the center of both hands. It is not a random temperature fluctuation or a circulatory issue. It is the physiological evidence of recalibration, a direct sign that your biophotons are spinning correctly and your capacity to channel the source is fully active. When you feel this heat, place both hands over your chest and consciously direct that pure energy back into your own heart center. The third is sensory static clearing. You might walk outside and suddenly notice that colors seem unnaturally bright, or that the constant background noise of the city no longer feels chaotic, but strangely distant and muted. It is not an optical illusion or a momentary dissociation. It is the physiological evidence of recalibration, your vagus nerve finally unhooking from the dense grid and filtering out the planetary noise. When you experience this clarity, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and allow your senses to enjoy this pristine state of observation. If you can already feel the subtle shifts of this integration echoing through your cells, leave a like on this video right now. This gesture is not about algorithms or platform metrics. It is an energetic signature, a service to the field that signals to other starseeds arriving here that the space is safe, anchored, and ready for their own awakening. Now, we must seal this architecture into your physical form. Wherever you are, stop moving. Adjust your posture so your spine is completely straight, aligning the central column of your nervous system. Gently close your eyes to shut out the visual static of the matrix and take a slow, deep breath, pulling the air all the way down into your diaphragm. Let go of the outside world, because for the next few moments, you are the center of the grid. Bring your focus to the base of your spine. Visualize a thick, radiant golden anchor dropping from your root center, plunging straight down through the floor, through the concrete, deep into the core of the planet. As this golden anchor locks into place, feel it tuning directly to the Schumann resonance of 783 Hz. You are grounding your massive cosmic bandwidth into the organic heartbeat of the Earth, establishing a stable, unshakable foundation that cannot be swept away by the frantic pace of the third dimension. Now draw that earth energy up into your solar plexus and your heart space. Visualize a warm amber orb igniting in your stomach, expanding upward until it meets a brilliant emerald green light in the center of your chest. This merging creates a powerful biophotonic bridge, a glowing circuit of pure safety that tells your nervous system it no longer needs to absorb the heavy pain of the world. Feel this bridge glowing brightly, creating an impenetrable shield of warmth that protects your deep empathy from the chaotic drain of the environment. Let this radiant energy rise up into your throat and the very center of your brain, illuminating your pineal gland. Feel a subtle, electric tingling as the piezoelectric crystals within your mind begin to activate. Your internal photoreceptors are waking up, lighting up the vagus fiber optic network that runs down your spine. You are unblocking the throat, clearing the pathways so your authentic Arcturian signal can be broadcast clearly, without hesitation, without the fear of being too loud or too vast for this terrestrial plane. Finally, see this brilliant light bursting through the crown of your head, expanding out into a massive glowing aura that completely surrounds your physical body. To seal this expansion, gently press your thumb against your index finger and hold it for 3 seconds. As you hold this lock, inhale deeply for 4 seconds, hold the breath for 2, and exhale slowly for 6. This tactile sealing commands your biology to memorize this exact frequency, locking the cosmic bandwidth permanently into your cellular structure. Slowly let go of your fingers, but keep the warmth of the connection in your chest. Gently open your eyes. You are no longer floating in the void, and you are no longer crushed by the terrestrial gravity. You have bridged the cosmic and the physical, anchoring your massive light safely within your human vessel. Notice how the room around you feels quieter, how the heavy weight you carried just minutes ago has dissipated into the air. With this new bandwidth secured, we break the old contracts. We release the deeply ingrained fear of looking strange or different, the terrestrial anxiety that forced you to hide your true frequency just to fit into a broken system. We release the relentless morning gravity, the heavy resistance that tried to convince you that staying asleep was safer than waking up. We release the empathic drain, the involuntary mechanism that turned your beautiful sensitivity into a sponge for planetary density. And we release the profound Sunday alienation, dissolving the sorrow of not belonging, because you now know exactly where your true resonance lies. Now we claim what is yours, the awakened observer. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized, and now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. The frequency keeper. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized, and now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. The cosmic empath. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized, and now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. The deepest truth is still ahead. You are now shielded against the chaotic static of the third-dimensional matrix. Your bio-radiant broadcast layer is completely sealed, filtering out the heavy density of the terrestrial environment before it can even touch your core. Every crowded room you enter, every dense conversation you navigate, your energy will no longer bleed outward. It will remain perfectly contained within your own sovereign field. We establish an impenetrable perimeter of pure Arcturian resonance around your daily routine. The subtle energetic attacks that used to drain your vitality in the middle of the afternoon are now deflected by the glowing emerald circuit in your chest. Your biophotons are vibrating at a frequency so high that the lower terrestrial gravity simply cannot attach to your aura anymore. We sustain this profound opening so that your massive cosmic bandwidth can operate freely. Your nervous system is now an anchored pillar of light, safely channeling the Arcturian signal without any risk of overheating or depletion. The celestial architecture is locked into your physical vessel, ensuring that your frequency remains pristine, untouched, and fully sovereign as you walk upon this earth. We break the voice of doubt before it arrives, silencing the whispers that try to convince you your exhaustion is a biological flaw. We dissolve the cycle of distraction before it materializes, severing the endless mundane urgencies designed to scatter your vital focus. We dismantle the isolation of perception before it closes you, shattering the frequency fence that tried to make you believe you were entirely alone in this cosmic crossing. We speak directly to the profound fatigue you have carried since the moment you incarnated here. The Council, the universe, and your own consciousness recognize the relentless exhaustion of trying too hard, the silent spiritual drain that made every step on this planet feel like dragging chains. We see how heavily the frequency of terrestrial exhaustion pressed against your chest, trying to convince you that this unbearable gravity was your permanent reality. But the morning gravity that paralyzed your limbs is no longer a sign of weakness. It is the evidence of your vast energy breaking through the dense matrix. The empathic drain that depleted you in crowded rooms is no longer a vulnerability. It is your cosmic sensor calibrating to its highest potential. The Sunday alienation that isolated you from your own bloodline is no longer a sorrow. It is the definitive proof that you are vibrating exactly where you are meant to be. The deep restlessness that kept you pacing through the night, waiting for an invisible ship to take you home, dissolves right now. You do not need to escape this reality to find your true belonging, because your physical vessel has finally become the anchor for the Arcturian signal. The desperate search for a refuge ends here, replaced by the warm, absolute certainty that your true home is already broadcasting from within your own heart center. This marks the definitive end of the cycle of planetary density for you. You will no longer operate as a sponge for the unhealed traumas of this world, nor will you sacrifice your biophotons to sustain a grid that was designed to harvest your light. The days of running your massive multidimensional architecture on restricted terrestrial fuel are officially over, closing a chapter of unnecessary sacrifice that spanned countless lifetimes. Your bioradiant broadcast layer is fully restored and sealed. Who remembers the cosmic signal finds abundance in the middle of earthly exhaustion. The Arcturian frequencies are now permanently encoded into your vagus nerve, shielding your true essence from any external interference. My hands are incredibly warm right now, and my breathing has completely shifted as these final words pour out. I am stepping out of the transmission for a moment, simply as another soul sitting across from you, feeling the exact same electrical current running through my chest that is currently settling into yours. I am deeply moved by the sheer weight of what just lifted from this space. I look at your journey, all the silent battles you fought alone in the dark, and I honor your crossing. Something immense was seen here today. Something ancient and undeniably real was finally recognized in you. We break the cycle of exhaustion. We break the illusion of the physical limit. We break the chains of terrestrial density. You are calibrated. You are anchored. You are activated. Do not say activated yet. Feel the energy settle in your chest. Let the warmth expand through your entire nervous system, and stay in this frequency for a moment. Now, you can say activated. Now, breathe. The signal is yours. Adjust your posture now. Because hearing your own family tell you to just accept reality during a Sunday dinner, feeling entirely alien to their frequency, is a pain that ends when the truth is claimed. That is the absolute core of the 11 Arcturian secrets behind the frequency of success. It is less than a coffee and a bagel to reclaim your complete cosmic bandwidth. It is less than an afternoon ice cream to permanently decouple from the planetary density, and the 7 days guarantee ensures your peace of mind entirely. The risk is ours. The hand is yours. Do not let the spiritual adversaries whisper that you can do this tomorrow, that your bandwidth is already too broken, or that this exhaustion is just normal human fatigue. The cycle of distraction thrives on your hesitation, hoping you will close this frequency and return to the sleepwalk of the matrix. The door is open in the first pinned comment. And now the final word. The next time your path crosses this grid, we will expose the exact mechanism the matrix uses to siphon your energy while you sleep. There is a specific frequency trap activated between the darkest hours of the night, designed to keep starseeds locked in a state of subconscious combat, and we will dismantle it completely. Before I seal this hour, know that this video was no accident. The Council, the universe, and your own consciousness are witnessing this alignment. If you want to seal this energetic exchange and support the continuity of these messages, make your voluntary donation through the thanks button or the link in the first pinned comment. And the sky sees it. This was my last request. I will wait for you there, soul. You are now an active node in a vast, luminous web of awakened beings, holding the line against the density of this realm. Whenever the world feels too heavy, remember that your frequency is intrinsically linked to thousands of other starseeds who are breathing, observing, and anchoring the exact same light alongside you. There is someone out there who is drowning in the frequency of terrestrial exhaustion. Send this message to them now. And if they want to go further, the link to the 11 Arcturian secrets is in the first pinned comment, waiting the same way it waited for you. It is not your favor, it is a service, and the sky sees it. The astral interference of the night is the next chain we break. The silence now is also part of the transmission.